Hi guys, Sliver here, and this is a guide on how to succeed in the Persuasion minigame of Oblivion Remastered. Persuasion is an important part of the game because in order to access certain dialogue options, you need to increase the character's disposition towards you up above a certain threshold. So the aim of this minigame is ultimately to increase the character's disposition number, which you can see in the middle of the wheel. This basically tells you how much a character likes you or not. The higher, the better, of course. Unfortunately, the minigame can be a little bit complicated to grasp, so that's why I'm making this guide to help you. When you start the minigame, you will notice that 4 different actions are on the 4 sides of this wheel. Admire, joke, coerce, and boast. The character you're talking to will always like 2 of these and always dislike 2 of these. Each character will have different preferences, so for example, somebody might like joking and coercing, and some other NPC might like admiring and boasting. In one round of the Persuasion minigame, you have to use all of these actions, so you have to do all 4, but you determine the order that you do them. And unfortunately, during the Persuasion minigame, you do not have unlimited time because the disposition number in the middle will decrease over time, so you have to make your choices fairly fast. So again, all you have to do in this minigame is decide in which order you want to admire, joke, coerce, and boast. But how can you determine this order? Let's go through one game and I will show you. The first round of the minigame differs from all others because here you do not yet know which topic the NPC likes and dislikes. Therefore, in the first round, you will have to look at the face of the NPC to check which 2 topics he likes and which 2 topics he dislikes. You do that by hovering over the action, so admiring or joking or coercing, and looking at the face of the NPC. If they seem happy when you're hovering over an action, then they will like that action. If they seem unhappy, then they dislike that action. For example, our guard here loves admiration because when we hover over this action, he can't stop smiling, but he dislikes joking because when we hover over that action, he looks at us like a bug or something. So, in the first round, you have to determine which 2 actions the NPC likes and which 2 actions he or she dislikes. If you perform an action that they like, then the disposition, the number in the middle, will increase. If you perform an action that they dislike, then the number will decrease. Next, we have to talk about the power of each action. Each action can be done with different levels of power, and this power is represented by the circular bars on the wheel. So for example, you can do joking with 4 bars of power, or you can do joking with 1 bar of power. This depends on which part of the wheel is located at the joke action. When you have 4 powers at the joke part of the wheel, then you will do it with 4 power. If there's only 1 bar at the joke action, you will do it with 1 bar of power. When you take one action, then the wheel will turn, so the power bars will change for each action, and you cannot take the same action twice in one round. So once you've determined which 2 actions the character likes and dislikes by looking at his or her face, then your job is to increase the disposition by doing actions that the character likes with as high power as possible and doing action that the character dislikes with as low power as possible. When you carry out an action that the character likes, then the disposition will increase, but it will increase further if you did it with high power. Similarly, if you do an action that the character dislikes, then you will lose disposition, but the disposition lost is much lower if you do it with low power. This might have sounded a little too complicated, so let's see an example with our guard here. We already know by looking at his face that he likes admiration and boasting, and he dislikes joking and coercing. So therefore, we want to perform joking and coercing with low power, and we want to perform admiration and boasting with high power. And if we manage to do that, then we should be able to increase our disposition as much as possible. From the second round, we don't have to look at the face of the NPC anymore, because the actions will be color-coded for us based on how the NPC likes them. The action with the red bars, in this case joking, is what the NPC hates, and we will lose a lot of points if we do that action with high power. So we definitely want to joke with low power in order to minimize our loss of disposition. We cannot avoid joking because we have to do all 4 actions in every round. So in order to minimize our losses, we want to joke with as low power as possible. The action with the brownish bars is what the person dislikes, and we will still lose points if we do that, so we definitely want to avoid doing this action, in this case coercing, with very high power. The action with the green bars is what the character loves, so in order to maximize our disposition gain, we want to do that action, in this case admiration, with as high power as possible. And the action with the yellowish green bars is what the character likes, and this will increase our disposition by a moderate amount, so we want to have high power on that action as well. And these are the basics of the persuasion minigame. You want to do actions with high power that the NPC likes and loves, and you want to do actions with low power that the NPC dislikes and hates. Of course, you always have to take into consideration that the wheel is going to turn when you take an action. Now, there are a few modifications to this minigame based on your Speechcraft skill. You get 1 extra turn on the wheel if you have a Speechcraft skill of at least 50, and the amount of lost disposition when you take an action that the NPC doesn't like will decrease with higher Speechcraft skills. In addition to that, the disposition of a person is maximized at a certain value, so even if you're really good at the minigame, you can't really further increase the disposition beyond that cap. You can also bribe a character to increase your disposition with them, and the bribe button is located to the left of the wheel in the minigame. And that's it. I hope this guide has been useful for you. If so, then feel free to comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.